Welcome. I'm Dr. Retta Standifer, and this is a short presentation that will give you some information about my Leading Virtual Teams workshop. A little bit about me. I have an MBA and a PhD in Business Administration Management. I have also worked for decades as a team researcher. I am a consultant to Fortune 500 companies, and I also have over 25 years experience as a manager professor. I also have over 10 years experience as an online educator. The workshop that I'm going to talk about today is my virtual teams workshop, and it is valuable to executives, to managers of virtual teams, or to team members themselves. And the workshop covers some general team info. This is practical information as well as research-based information, just about teams in general. Another thing that we talk about is team functioning, processes, how do teams interact, that sort of thing. And how does that differ when you're in the virtual realm? And that's what really is the bulk of the workshop. We talk about the virtual realm. We talk about building virtual teams and how do you best manage and evaluate them? How do you get your best results? So for that general team info, I'll talk to you a little bit about some standard teamwork patterns. How do people in virtual teams tend to work? We also talk about work timing because everybody has sort of an internal clock on how or preference on how they like to schedule their work. And that's something that a team, whether it's virtual or not, needs to understand across the members and make sure that everybody works together at the best time. We'll also spend a short period of time talking about how teams develop over time, the developmental stages in teams. And with regard to all three of these things, work patterns, work timing, and developmental stages, we'll talk about how these things may differ when you are in a virtual realm. The second major part of the workshop is team functioning. So we talk a little bit about the processes that you see in teams, the importance of interdependence among team members, especially when you're dealing in a virtual team. And how do you deal with conflict in a virtual realm? Conflict being both good and bad. And like I said before, we talk about all three of these things, both in a general sense, but also specific to virtual teams. How do these things possibly differ in a virtual realm? And that's where we really focus. When we're talking about virtual teams, we talk about the challenges of leading and working in a virtual realm. We'll talk about the importance of team member trust and rapport. We'll talk about how crucial communication is when you're dealing in a virtual team context. And we'll talk about how you can get results and how can you evaluate teams that are working virtually to make them work best together. In addition to the workshop, I provide a set of handouts that are there to help both the manager and the employees get the best performances possible. So, for instance, I offer a virtual team management agreement, which is where all of the members of the team get together at the beginning of the project to set some ground rules, some team norms, who's going to do what, their roles, member strengths, um, various things that everyone can agree on, that timing that I talked about earlier. How are you going to work together? If you can set the stage early in the process, you'll find that the inner workings of the team will go much smoother. I also provide an assessment that the team can do for their virtual manager so that the manager is getting some input from the team members themselves about how they feel things are being managed. I provide an evaluation that can be done for team members. And I also provide a couple of infographics that are just some general information that I think is useful to team members. Things like how to make teams successful and what are some tips on how best to collaborate with each other. And this is a deal for you. My company is relatively new at this point, and I am happy to provide the workshop and the handouts together for just $300, which is about half off of what I would typically charge for this workshop and the handouts. Um, the only thing that I ask is that you complete a quick, like 10 question online survey, provide some constructive feedback about the experience that you have in the workshop and with the handouts, and hopefully, if you could provide a short testimonial or two about the workshop that we can use on our website. And that's about it. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. I hope to hear from you soon. Feel free to contact me um, either directly through my email or through my phone, or come to our website. Thanks.